Okay. If you hover over an item, it will tell you what it is. Driftwood Club, it will tell you the damage that it does, attacks per second, the weapon range, and it also tells you it's got a special ability, 10% reduced enemy stun threshold. It means you're more likely to stun enemies with that weapon. Now this thing that you pick up now is called a skill gem. And at the top it's got a line saying attack and melee. So that indicates what it's going to be used for. Attacking with melee weapons. And it tells you it knocks enemies back, deals 150% base damage, and 25 reduced enemy stun threshold. So you'll be more likely to stun enemies with that. I like to change this to move only. So when you want to run away, you don't want to just randomly stand there and attack. Now this is a support gem, and on the side you see it says active skills, heavy strike. So it's looking in my character what I've got equipped, and it's seeing if it supports it or not. If it didn't support heavy strike, it would have like a little cross on it, X mark crossing it out. So the top line that it reads is support melee attack, so it's a support skill, and it's going to modify the main skill in some way. So all these different support gems is going to modify your main skill either by adding lightning damage to it, poison, whatever, elemental damage, or it can make them bleed. It just depends on the support gem that you pick up.
I live to see another door.
Okay, now we've picked up a whole bunch of stuff.
Got the big bastard.
Bit of lag. Let's run in here.
Fine work with Hillock.
So he's giving us two things to choose from: Molten Strike or Ground Slam. Let's grab this thing. So it shows you what it does. It makes like spikes. And here it tells you support gems, chance to bleed, melee physical damage, maim, brutality, and increased area. So you can click on each of these things and it will sort of tell you what it does.
Stay sharp out there.
A mighty Marok.
Talamor, Lion-Eye's watch isn't much.
I just grabbed anything.
What little help I can offer is yours.
To sell stuff, you just hold in control and left click, and it will move it into this your offer area, and then this is what she's offering me back. You click on accept. Now you've
Take care.
sold that crap and you bought more crap. So let's put these things in here. I think let's head back out. Let's go to the hideout. Let me go to the hideout and then we'll talk about all the stuff that I've got there. I just want to talk about the basic things. Okay, so to check your character sheet, you push your C button and it brings up your character. Now here you can see I've got 78 life, 53 mana, 32 strength, 14 dex, 14 intelligence. With this default attack, I'm doing this much damage and attack speed, and it tells you different multipliers. If I click on this heavy strike, it will give me different stats. So the DPS changes up from 8.5 to 14. So the heavier strike does more damage, but it costs mana to use. And here you can see bleeding and knockback and stuff like that. So if you add more gems to it, more support gems, say for instance this thing had another socket and he added a chance to bleed gem to it, and it's linked up, then the chance to bleed on his main hand hits will go up. Defenses shows you all your current defenses. If you equip helmets and shields and stuff like that, your defense numbers here will go up according to what you've got equipped. Also, some of the items in this game will slow you down. So if you equip like a heavy armor and a heavy shield, you will get a penalty to your movement, and that will also show up here in your defenses. This miscellaneous life leech and mana leech and stuff like that can all be modified through gems, but also on your skill tree. So what that means is you can add a support gem to your main gem that makes you drain life from an enemy if you hit them, and that will be reflected in this section over here. The charges, there's 3 different charges: endurance charges, frenzy charges, and power charges. And underneath each one it gives you a description of what they do. Endurance charges is mainly going to be used by this dude. The frenzy charges is more on the ranger side of things, and power charges are more up towards the spellcaster area. I'll show you where they are. I'll open up that screen. So if we type in here endurance, they start flashing up. So here's endurance charges. So you can, from your starting area, path out and try and grab some endurance charges if you want to increase the endurance charges that you can have, and it increases the duration of them. If we type in frenzy charges, it will show you where the frenzy charges are at. Power charges, there's some over here, there's some over there, and there's some over here. So all those different charges will modify your character in some way. For the melee characters, endurance charges are quite useful because it will reduce the physical damage that you take, and it will give you extra resistance per endurance charge. When we start off, we get a choice. You can either go life and armor, you can go melee, or you can just go strength. Depending on your playstyle and what you want to do, you make your choice. When you're starting off and you look at this current skill that we've got, heavy strike, it will tell you what sort of weapons you can use it with. So it says it requires a mace, an axe, a sword, or a two-handed weapon. So it can basically use almost anything. So if you want to focus on that skill and make it your end game skill, you can make a choice of what type of weapon you want to use with it. say now you want to use an X. You type an X here, and then it will show up all the different X nodes. There's some more down here. So, but it's a far way to travel, all the way from here, down there, down there, to just to get these 3 X nodes over here. So you can decide, okay, I'm just going to go for this big cluster of X nodes over here. I'm going to maybe grab 2 or 3 of these ones. You don't have to grab everything on this, but usually the bigger ones at the end will give you a different ability. So this is increased damage with axes. Attacks have 10 chance to give you bleeding. This one is physical damage, accuracy, and 10% chance to gain onslaught. 25 increased damage with ailments from attacks with skills. So they all give you different modifiers to your axe. If you want to go two-handed, then it shows you two-handed, generic two-handed melee damage. So if you want to go two-handed axe, you can just type in two-handed and it will show you some generic two-handed weapon damage. So you can use this with a two-handed sword, a two-handed axe, and it will give you the same rewards but for a different weapon. And then if you want to supplement that, then you just type an axe or whatever and select that. So you went two-handed and then you come here down and you grab this axe nodes. So that's how you can sort of plan out your roadmap to get to what you want to play with. If you want to play with one-handed weapons like a sword, there's sword nodes over here. Axe nodes, there's mace nodes, there's all sorts of different weapons that you can choose from. And you gotta look out for what skill you want to use and then what weapons it supports. Very important is health in this game. What do they call it? Life. So you type in life and it will show up all the areas that you can pick up some life from. So you'll be able to pick up more life as a melee character on this side than, say, the ranger has got less life options to choose from. There's 4 maximum life, 4 maximum life, 8 maximum life. There you start off with 4, 4, 4, 4, and then you move up here into 10 maximum life. This big cluster over here is very good to get. So depending on what you want to play, what skill you want to use, that's how you sort of map out and form an idea of, okay, this skill looks interesting and I want to play with that, and how do I level up my character. Now in the beginning you won't have a big range of skills to choose from. You'll just get a couple of skills, but towards the end game there will be more and more skills available with different abilities, and the higher you go up in levels, some of them will be better than others. And but some of the skills that you get at this level, you can scale them up to end game. So like at Molten Strike, you get it at level 1 and you can use that thing to kill the end game bosses if you level that thing up. So that's another thing. This skill gem will gain levels as you level up. It will go up to level 20. That's the maximum level that it can go up to. And every time it levels up, it will do more damage. And all the support gems will level up with it as well, and they will increase the damage that your main weapon damage gem does. So what you want to do is you want to level up a couple of these. You want to level up, say you're going to do heavy strike for end game. You decide that's a skill that you like and you're going to play that. Buy 2 or 3 of them, and then what you do is you get another weapon. I don't have any other weapons here. I'll just use this as an example. Say now this thing had 3 sockets. You grab that, you go to your second tab, you throw it in there. Say now this thing has got 3 sockets, you put 1, 2, 3 heavy strikes in there. You swap back to your main end weapon, and you carry on fighting and leveling up. This weapon that's sitting here with these gems in it, these gems will level up in the background, and you don't have to worry about them. So you can have 2 of them equipped, and you can level up 6 gems that way throughout the game without worrying about space or using them. Let's go over the very basic sort of things. Now the scroll of wisdom will identify items, and to get a scroll of wisdom you need 5 of these scroll fragments, and that will become a scroll of wisdom. These different shards that you pick up, the progression from a shard will be an orb. Okay, so if you ever see a shard, it will become an orb if you have enough of them. You need 20 to become an orb of alteration. You need 20 of this transmutation shards to become 1 orb of transmutation. 20 alchemy shards to become 1 orb of alchemy. Now all of these items can be used on weapons, armor, even on gems and on maps. You can basically modify anything in the game with these, what they call currencies. Some of them are limited to specific items, like this blacksmith stone improves the quality of a weapon, so you can only use them on weapons. Armorer's scrap you can only use on armor. So what that will do is it will increase the quality of your armor, and by increasing the quality of your armor it increases the block chance and the armor rating of your armor. So if I click on this and click on that, this thing's now got 5% quality added to it, and that increased the evasion rating on these gloves. The highest quality that you can have on something is 20 quality, and you want to try and level it up. If you like an item, you want to try and get 20 quality on it all the time. The same goes with weapons. If you use this on a weapon, it will increase the damage output of it. So there the range from physical damage is increasing. 7 to 9. Now it's 7 to 10. It didn't go up by a huge amount, but it is increased, and all of those little numbers add up in the end. What it also does is if you quality a weapon, it increases the chance of it getting better rolls when you upgrade this into a magic item. Now let's take this stuff out. This is now just a normal white item. To make this a magic item, I'm going to use an orb of transmutation. It says there, upgrades a normal item to a magic item. I'm going to click on this, and now it's given this weapon 18 increased physical damage, 10 increased critical strike chance, and 7 to accuracy rating. So now it's improved the damage overall. But if I don't like that, if I don't want those rolls, I can still alter it. I can use this orb of alteration now to change the stats on this item. I can re-roll it to something that I like. Like 1 mana on kill, that's no good. There we've got 16 increased physical damage, we've got attack speed and accuracy rating, which is all really good. Like stuff like this you don't want on your weapon. You don't want fire resistance and things like that on your weapon. I'll show you another thing. Is this orb of augmentation. You can use this now to say now you want to add something else to this. Now it's doing 1 to 3 fire damage. So you can use these two orbs to try and get something that you like. You can re-roll, and this weapon is now really good. 49% increased physical damage and 7 increased attack speed. The only problem with it is it's just got 2 sockets that's linked up. You want to have 3 sockets that's linked up on this weapon. And to do that, you're going to use those jeweler's orbs. These jeweler orbs will increase the number of sockets on your weapon. Okay, this one can't be upgraded because it's a low level weapon and it's got the maximum number of sockets. But say now if this was a level 50 weapon, then I could upgrade it to 3 sockets. So depending on your levels and what they are, you'll be able to modify it. Say now this helmet, I want it to have 4 sockets. It's only got 3 sockets. So I can sit here and re-roll it until it gets 4 sockets. To improve the chances of it getting 4 sockets, you use that armorers and give it quality, and that will improve the chances of this item getting the 4 sockets that I want. So it's very random and you're gonna burn through a lot of currency like that. Now we got the 4 sockets, that's really good. Okay, now it's got the 4 green sockets. I don't want 4 green sockets. Say now I want 2 red sockets and 2 blue sockets. How do I change that? Well, you can grab this chromatic orbs and throw that on there, and that will change the colors of your item. The chances of this thing getting red sockets is not very high because it's an evasion rate armor, so it's more likely to get green sockets. The same goes with the intelligence and the strength armors. So the strength armors will have a higher chance of rolling red sockets, and the mage's armors will have a better chance of rolling blue sockets. So there I got 2 blue, 2 green. I'm gonna keep this for my other character. My other character can use that. But now they're not linked up. It's just 4 sockets. So if I put gems in here, they won't be supporting each other. To link it up, you use this orb of fusing, and these things are super valuable. You're gonna want a couple thousand of these things. What a luck! I 4-linked this item in one go. To 6-link an item is very difficult. Like I've had luck where I've 6-linked a bow in 18 fusings, and the very first time I played Path of Exile, I got this very nice bow, and it had 6 sockets, and I I had something like 100 fusings, and I said to myself, I'm just gonna try. And 18 fusings later, I had a 6-link item, and so I was super happy and super lucky. I didn't realize it because I was brand new to the game. Later on, I found an armor that's really good, and I wanted to 6-link that thing. I've spent like 1,800 fusings on that thing already, and I haven't 6-linked it yet. I'm giving up on that thing. I've stopped trying to fuse it. I should just rather buy a 6-linked item at that point in time. But now this thing has got 4 sockets, and it's all linked up and good to go. So we used chromatic orbs to change the color. We added sockets with jeweler's orbs, and we linked it with the fusings. I'll say now I didn't like the rolls on this item, but I like the base. The base is at the top saying Ursine Pelt. If I like the base of this, but didn't like the rolls on it, I can use this Orb of Scouring and remove all of those properties, and it will become a normal white item. Then I can use different orbs to enhance it. I can use this Orb of Alchemy to change it back into a rare item, or Orb of Transmutation to turn it into a blue item. There's other orbs here that I don't have yet that you can also use to upgrade, but those are more in-game sort of stuff. This Chaos Orb is very similar to the Orb of Alteration, but the Orb of Alteration, like you can't use this Orb of Alteration on this rare item. Target is not magic. Okay, so I can't change the properties of this rare item with this Orb of Alteration, but I can change this rare item's properties with this Chaos Orbs. It says here, reforge a rare item with new random modifiers, but you don't want to really spend these Chaos Orbs on doing that unless you've got a ton of them. These are sort of in-game currencies. People buy and trade with these things as a main currency that they use. There are other things that they use, but this is the sort of main thing. And so you can change the properties of an item like that. So if you find something really nice, a really good base that you like, you can re-roll it and try and get maybe 120 life on this thing with 40 fire resist, 40 cold resist, 40 lightning resist, and it's like the best thing ever. You can re-roll it like that and sit here and spam Chaos Orbs on it. This Blessed Orb changes the implicits of an item. So for instance, say now this implicit is 10 reduced enemy stun threshold. Say now that 10% reduced enemy stun threshold was 3% reduced enemy stun threshold, but we know it can go up to 10%. Then you use this Blessed Orb to try and re-roll it up to a higher value. This Gem Cutter's Prisms, you can get them from trading in quality gems. So while you're playing the game, you're going to be picking up different gems are going to drop, and like this one has got 5 quality on it. If you get a whole bunch of them with quality on it, I think you need 30, a total of 30 quality, 30 or 40, I can't remember now. I haven't done it in a while, but you take a whole bunch of them with quality on it and you give it to the vendor. He will give you a Gem Cutter's Prism back. Now this Gem Cutter's Prism, you use that on max level gems. So you're playing the game, you're leveling up your heavy strike, and it's reached level 20. What you do is you take one of them, and the gem that you want to level up, you go to a vendor,
Prepared for the end.
you say sell item, you take this level 20 gem, you throw it in there, and you take one of these gem Cutter's Prisms, you throw it in there, and at the top here, it will give you back a heavy strike, but it will reset it to level 1, but it will be 20 quality. So this level 20 gem that you're trading into him will become level 1, but it will have 20 quality on it from this Gem Cutter's Prism. That will increase the damage and stuff like that. But now you got to start re-leveling that gem that you just traded in. So that's where this, what I showed you before, where you have multiples of this in your second hand leveling up. You grab one of those, and it should be level 20 because you started leveling it at the same time as this. You take that level 20 gem, throw it into your main hand weapon, You throw it into your main hand weapon and start using this. And now this gem that you've traded in, that's now got 20 quality on it, is level 1, so it's not doing much damage. You take that and you throw it into this second weapon slot of yours. You go back to your main hand weapon and you fight with that level 20 gem, and this gem that you've just put in there with 20 quality is gonna level up in the background. And once that thing's level 20, you take it out again and it's good to go. Then what you can do is, if you want to gamble, you get these Vol orbs and it corrupts items. Now you've got this level 20 gem and it's got 20 quality on it. You use this Vol orb on that and that will it will either turn it into a level 21 gem or it will break it. It could make it a level 10 gem, a level 1 gem, or it could make it a completely different gem. It can really screw up the item. But the chances of you getting a level 21 gem makes it worthwhile, because that level 21 gem is going to do a whole lot more damage than your level 20 gem. So that's the main reason for leveling up a couple of them, because in case one of them or 4 or 5 of them breaks, hopefully one of them will become a level 20 gem. And then you've got a really powerful gem in your setup. And you can do it with all your support gems and try and level them all up the same way. The only things that you can't modify like that and give quality is these Vol variants. So you get a normal skill gem, say now we had heavy strike, you can get a Vol heavy strike as well. I'm not sure if you can get a Vol heavy strike, but for instance, you have this Vol variant. You can level this thing up to level 20, but you can't take it to the vendor with a gem cutter's prism and trade it in to make it a 20 quality and start re-leveling it. Once this Vol gem has reached level 20, that's where it stays. You can't improve on it. And what these Vol things do is, as you kill enemies, they collect souls, and you see at the top line it says Ancestral War Chief, and then sort of in the middle it says Vol Ancestral War Chief. Now the Vol Ancestral War Chief is the second ability of this gem. Once it's collected enough souls, you can pop that ability, and instead of it doing 8% more melee damage while the totem is active, it's going to do 32% more melee damage while the totem is active. So for a short duration of time, this thing is going to pump out the damage like crazy. So you usually keep that second ability for the boss fights. You fight through the map and you collect souls, and once you get to the boss, your Vol skill gem is ready, and as soon as the boss enters, you pop your Vol skill, and this thing will do a crazy amount of damage in a short amount of time. But that's sort of like in-game stuff. You don't have to worry about these Vol things just yet. You can use them from level 1 if you pick them up, but you don't have to worry about it. Okay, we've done that. Cartographer chisel. You use that to modify maps. Okay. So here's a map. Got that from an enemy that I killed. And you put this into a machine, you'll get it a map device like this. And once you're high enough level, you put the gem in here, you activate it, and it will open up portals to this map, and you can go into that map and fight the bad guys. But this cartographer chisel adds quality onto this map, so you'll have a better chance of getting better gear and better drops and more monsters in there when you use this chisel on that. And you can upgrade this map the same way as you upgrade weapons and armor and stuff. With your orb of transmutation, you can make this a a map, and it gives it a modifier. Now it says monsters reflect 13 of physical damage. So that's not a very good mod that you want on there. So it's going to reflect damage back to you. So you take this and you re-roll it to something that's not as bad, and it's going to give you a reward. So there it says 20% more rare monsters, and rare monsters each have a nemesis mod. So it tells you there item quantity is higher, item rarity is higher, and the monster pack size has been increased because we've made it a magic item and modified it in some way. Now you can also take this Vol Orb and use it on this map. That will corrupt this map. It might actually turn it into a different map, or it will just make this map corrupted. And what that does is it corrupts the end boss that you fight, and that boss will be harder and have different modifiers to it. The silver coins, you can use them to get prophecies in town, and some of the prophecies are really good, but I don't really bother with that sort of stuff. They are super valuable, but yeah, I don't really bother with that. This glassblower's bauble will improve the quality of your flasks. So all your potions that you're going to pick up through the game, you can enhance them with this. And so that will increase the life recovery rate and things like that. And you can also modify all of these flasks with different abilities. So you can upgrade this, make this magic, and use the same orb of alteration on it. Now this thing has got 25 additional elemental resistance while you use it. It's for that period of time. And you can re-roll this until you find something that you like immunity to bleed, immunity to freeze, immunity to shock, remove curses, all sorts of different things like that you can have on these different flasks. This is a gem, and now these gems, well, that's a jewel actually. This is a gem, that is a jewel. Now these jewels, you can use that. Let's pick it up and open up the character sheet. Now you can place them once you've unlocked a jewel socket. You can put that into that jewel socket, and whatever is on this gem will be added to your character. So if I add this gem into a jewel socket, I will get 18% critical strike multiplier with my cold skills, strength and dexterity, and it will give me firing and lightning resistance. So these jewels are very important, and you want to try and get jewels with life and attacks on them. But that's more towards the end game. You don't have to worry about that in the beginning. What else is there to talk about? Well, all these items, your armor items can have 4 sockets, one-handed weapons can have up to 3 sockets, two-handed weapons can have up to 6 sockets, armor can have up to 6 sockets, and then very important stuff is your jewelry, rings and amulets and a belt. But all of those sort of things you'll pick up as you go along, and you'll see what is benefiting your character and modifying your damage, modifying your resistance and things like that. But that's the very basics of it, and we can sort of go over that sort of stuff while we're playing and talk about things that you don't understand.